You've seen him in the preseason, but get ready for the real thing. Kristaps, Porzingis, and Jrue Holiday will be making their regular season debut for the Boston Celtics, and the duo is back. I've missed them. I know you guys have. This is the best duo in the league. Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum are ready to get this thing started. I'm excited for the Boston Celtics regular season. I know you are too. Like this video if you are ready to get Banner 18's journey underway. Yo, Celtics fans, what is going on? I am your host of Celtics Today, Allie Barefoot. Producer Smitty is right here to my left, and we cannot contain our excitement because the regular season is 24 hours away from seeing the Boston Celtics finally playing real basketball. So we're taking a look in breaking down the Celtics roster ahead of the season opener and ahead of the next 82 games for the Boston Celtics because 2023-24 NBA season does start today, but the Celtics play tomorrow. So I want to remind you guys we're having a watch party tomorrow night starting at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be going up against the New York Knicks channel right here at Chat Sports and Marshall Green. You guys have already seen it in the preseason. Going to be the same thing, but a lot more exciting because this is for real deal. Join us on the watch party, and while we're doing that, I want to talk to you guys about the top dogs for the Boston Celtics. Smitty and I got together and we're like, all right, here's our starting lineup that we possibly want going up against the New York Knicks. And of course, we both decided Jrue Holiday needs to make his debut starting five against the Knicks. You got to have that defense coming from him, and you got to have his ball handling skills. And on top of that, I want Jaylen Brown on the court. I want him shooting those threes. I want him popping off against the New York Knicks the way that he has done time and time again. And like I said, the duo, his right-hand man, Jayson Tatum. I don't even want to imagine a starting five for the Boston Celtics without Jayson Tatum in there. I don't even have to tell you what he can do because we already know. Kristaps Porzingis has to be in the starting lineup against the New York Knicks because I'm ready for his regular season debut. He does so much around the perimeter and in the paint. He's an unstoppable force against the Knicks so far in the preseason. And big man Al Horford, 37 years old, and he can still get up with Mitchell Robinson in the paint. These are our possible starting five Boston Celtics going up against the New York Knicks. Now, Joe Mazzulla can go with a smaller backcourt. He can always pick Derrick White to start with Jrue Holiday, and you can bench somebody like Al Horford or Porzingis. But ultimately, no starting five has been announced just yet, 24 hours away. However, Joe Mazzulla did say this. He said, I guarantee you, by like 20 or 30 games, you won't be asking anymore because we'll have so many different ones. I think the main thing is just all of us have to be open-minded and flexible to be able to take advantage of matchups on both sides of the floor, what gives us the best chance to win. Like we said, Joe Mazzulla could even go with a smaller backcourt against Emmanuel Quickley, Jalen Brunson, and a very shooting-heavy New York Knicks offense. So this is just what Smitty and I said. This is what we think should happen. The last two preseason games, I think it was, Smitty, we actually saw Al Horford sitting, and he was taking a rest. So we have already seen both versions of a possible starting lineup, but overall, the bench looks good. You've got Derrick White if he's not in the starting lineup. That's why we have a little asterisk right next to Derrick White's name because he still could be right there next to Jrue Holiday, but preseason Payton Pritchard, I do believe, is going to be coming off the bench. Probably one of the first people to come off the bench for the Boston Celtics in my eyes, depending on what they need at the time, whether they're up, whether they're down. But these two guys can definitely kind of mix around in the starting lineup to see what's going to go on. I don't think Payton Pritchard so much in the starting lineup, but he could come off the bench by the first time out, I believe. But I do think he's going to have a lot of minutes heading into the regular season. But I want to ask you guys, more or less 41.5 games started for Derrick White. Type M for more, type L for less. I'm going to go more. I know Smitty's probably going to go less here, but you guys know I've liked that smaller backcourt going into this, so I want Derrick White to start more than 41.5 games, but I want to hear from you guys. Type N for more, type L for less, and while you're at it, go on ahead and put your prize picks in because the NBA regular season is starting today. This is the app I use constantly when I want to put my picks in. All you have to do is pick between 2 to 6 players, their projected stats, and you just click more or less. It's that Simple. Right now, they've got an incredible deal on Steph Curry, 98% off his total points. If you think Curry's going to score more than half a point, click more. I have Jrue Holiday scoring less than 15.5 points. I think he's going to drop a couple of threes here and there, but primarily, I think he's going to be focused on his defense. So I want to see what his role is. So I took less here, but I want to see your picks. All you have to do, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS, and you can get a first-time deposit match up to $100. Watch yourself win some real money in real time. Diving deeper into the bench, you also got to look at Luke Kornet for that backup center position. If you're starting both of your bigs with Kristaps, Porzingis, now Horford, you're going to have to see a lot of more Luke Kornet coming off the bench because one of them is going to need rest at some point. When you look at his preseason stats through 4 games, guys, this isn't a lot. This isn't very good. 3.3 points per game, 1.8 assists, 2.5 rebounds, and he's shooting 75% from the field, but he didn't take more than 2 shots a game. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I don't like Luke Kornet as the backup center. I didn't see anything from the preseason that I liked. I understand he's played for the Boston Celtics before, and I understand I got to get over it because it looks like Luke Kornet is going to be the backup center, but Joe Mazzulla may change that halfway through the season because I did not like what I saw from the preseason. I'm being harsh. You can tell me, Allie, oh my gosh, he's played for the Celtics before. That's my opinion. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments, but overall, I'm not satisfied with Luke Kornet. But if we dive even deeper on the bench, I was impressed with Sam Hauser in the preseason. He was taking a lot of open shots. I saw a little bit more on defense as well from him. I'm excited to see what his role is going to be in the regular season. Now that Payton Pritchard has really separated himself from somebody like Sam Hauser as a potential to come off the bench the first time out or so. So Sam Hauser will be interesting to see what Mazzulla does with him. And then Oshae Brissett. Of course, the Celtics did pick him up this season. So it's going to be interesting to see how Oshae Brissett is going to kind of work himself into the regular season as well. His preseason stats, they weren't incredibly flashy. I'll get to that 3-point percentage in just 1 second, but 4.2 points per game, that's fine for somebody coming off the bench. It truly is. 4.5 rebounds per game, that's what I like. I like that he's coming in and he's rebounding almost instantly. 30% from the field, that's horrible. That's terrible. He went 3 games and had 0% from the field. That can't happen. So if you're going to come in, you're going to be a defensive asset. I don't even want to talk about his 3-point percentage because that was also trash. So shooting offensively, that is going to be a struggle. Defensively, rebounding, I'll take it. I'll absolutely take Oshae Brissett coming off the bench in his defensive rebounding because when you look at his career stats, he's never been a big shooter. Even 2019, he's like 2 points per game, that's nothing. When you look at the rebounds, 5.5, 5.3, 3.4, that's a defensive asset the Celtics need because they can't have Tatum being the only person on that floor that's going to be rebounding at least 8 boards per game. So I do think Hauser and Brissett are going to be the wings that are going to be coming off the bench and kind of subbing in for Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum throughout the game. So if you're going to put Brissett in and you're going to sit somebody like Jayson Tatum, not starting lineup, I'm talking about coming off the bench, then Oshae Brissett needs to be rebounding the same way Jayson Tatum is. Not shooting, but rebounding. Tell me which wing you guys like better coming off the bench. Type OB for Brissett, type SH for Hauser. I think this is like apples to oranges in my opinion. You want a shooter, you get Sam. You want a rebounder in defense, you're going to get Oshae Brissett. Type in the comments OB for Oshae Brissett, SH for Sam Hauser. Now a little bit more technical. You got to look at the standard contracts that are going on heading into the regular season. Of course, Svi Mykhailiuk did sign a standard contract with the Boston Celtics. I like Svi. He was dropping some dimes in the preseason. I think he's got a lot to learn from. I think he needs to grow this season. If he doesn't, I think this contract needs to be reevaluated towards the end of the year. But overall, I have high hopes for Svi. Delano Banton, we saw kind of a mixed take with Delano in the preseason. Some nights he looked great. Other nights he was taking shots when he didn't have a shot. So I'm pretty intrigued to see how these contracts are going to work for these two players. But overall, these are the standard contracts heading into the regular season. And Keith Smith with Keith Smith NBA tweeted, Delano Banton and Svi Mykhailiuk of the Boston Celtics both have contract guarantees that trigger if they aren't waived today. Both players will see their minimum deals become partially guaranteed for over just $1 million. So still, They're getting that bag. They need to prove that they're going to be worth it in the long run. But overall, they've got to make a name for themselves here in the regular season quickly because the preseason, a little bit shaky for both of them, but overall, not terrible to have those two players on standard contracts. Because did you know, over his last 6 games in 2022-23, Svi Mykhailiuk averaged 16.8 points on a 46% field goal percentage and 37.5 from the three-point range. 16.8 points is amazing. I'll take that 110%. Like I said, he needs to grow this year. We need to see that Svi. That Svi is going to get paid. But it's up to Svi Mykhailiuk on whether or not he is going to make a name for himself because you've got to build up to get higher in this rotation coming off the bench. Payton Pritchard proved himself. Payton Pritchard, I guarantee you, not in the starting lineup. He comes in the game after the first time out. Svi Mykhailiuk could, but he's got to get up there. Along with Lamar Stevens. You know, he's another person that may or may not suit up, along with Svi Mykhailiuk and Delano Banton. Wow, that's a tongue twister if you say it that fast. Lamar Stevens and Jordan Walsh kind of go together here for me. I think that they could both make a name for themselves for the Boston Celtics roster, but overall, I think these are two players that will be 14th, 15th at the end of the bench if they do see any regular season moments. I also think Walsh could spend some time in the G League as well. He's great. I think he's a fantastic rookie in terms of how rookies go, but you just got to learn a little bit more here, and I'm totally fine with seeing him for the main Celtics. I think he would definitely grow there. He's been learning from Al Horford. He's been guarding Derrick White, so ultimately, he'll get there. Just give him some time. And when you look at people who need some time, you got to look at the two-way contracts. J.D. Davison, he was trash in the preseason, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Neemias Queta, I think, should be the backup center over Luke Kornet. I've said that from day one. This man needs to be on a standard contract. And then Nathan Knight was signed to the Celtics 2 days ago after Jay Scrubb did have an ACL, I believe it was, injury. One of those. And they did waive him. So now Nathan Knight comes from us from the New York Knicks. Not a bad pickup at all. And when you look at Adam Himmelsbach with the Boston Globe, he said, according to a league source, the team will likely enter the season with 14 players on guaranteed contracts. Queta played well this preseason, but the source said the Celtics do not plan to convert his two-way deal into a standard contract in the near future. Brad Stevens, you were doing so good. I loved you in the offseason. And then you pull this shit. Give Queta his deal. This man proved he should be the backup center for the Boston Celtics behind Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis. He dominated in the preseason. Once again, it's a preseason. They're playing against bench players. I don't care. Neemias Queta can do the damn thing, not Luke Kornet. We need justice for Neemias Queta sooner or later. He's going to have to earn a spot now. I believe he absolutely can. When he gets that chance, he better prove himself the way that he did in the preseason. So he's got a chip on his shoulder. I'll give him that. But I'm mad, just so you know. But overall, when you take a look at the Celtics starting 5 potentially going into the New York Knicks game, this looks fantastic. Jayson Tatum, 30 points per game. Jrue Holiday, almost a 20-piece. Jaylen Brown, a 20-piece. Kristaps Porzingis, a 20-piece. Al Horford, almost 10. Sharp shooters from everywhere on the court. I'm very excited for this potential Celtics roster heading into the regular season. I love the addition of Jrue Holiday. I love even more the addition of Kristaps Porzingis. I think you're going to be absolutely lethal, and there's nobody else I would want to play the first game of the season other than the New York Knicks. We are going to be having a watch party tomorrow night, 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Me and Smitty are going to be there having drinks, hanging out, watching the game, getting ready for some Boston Celtics basketball, so make sure you're tuning in. But overall, I want you guys to grade the Boston Celtics roster for me. I'm going to give this from an A through an F. I got to give it a B. Only because they put Neemias Queta on his two-way contract. I'm still mad. Call me salty. I don't care. I like Neemias Queta a lot. Let me know what you guys think of this Boston Celtics roster. Grade it A, B, C, D, or F in the comments. And while you're at it, subscribe to this channel because we're going to be having watch parties all year long. Going to be bringing you updates about the Boston Celtics news and rumors. So all you got to do, hit that sub button.